This is Helga. Helga is a replica of a Stug III. Technically they weren't tanks, they were assault guns, but this particular version was designed to kill other tanks. They were the most successful tank killers of the Second World War. The Stug series of vehicles, which were made from 1939 right up to the 1945, there were some of these dug into Berlin. They killed over 20,000 Allied tanks up until 1944. Then they stopped counting because they had other things on their mind. And some of these Stugs were actually still in the Golan Heights fighting the Israelis in the 60s and 70s when the Israelis were using Super Shermans. So they were still carried on fighting each other after World War II.
We were in the Golan Heights last week. We were at the Golan Heights.
Oh right, well some of them still dug in up there. This is actually a replica because obviously the original German armour is incredibly expensive and quite rare still. And we like to do battle reenactments, so we get blown up twice daily. So we built these from out of FV432 armoured personnel carriers. So the running gear is British Army, the engine is Rolls-Royce, fantastic. Inside is not quite authentic on this particular version. The later ones we're doing now is very easy to drive. I could teach you to drive it in 15 minutes. Whether you could drive it safely in 15 minutes, I'd not say that. And if you would want to put it onto a transporter, you would have to have a very strong stomach because it's quite difficult. But yes, we do them in battles. These ones are marked up in the early Normandy camouflage scheme, and they are marked as vehicles of the Leichtstandarte Adolf Hitler, 1st SS. All the names are H's because the guy who mainly builds them is Harold Mamillier, or Big H to all his mates. So yeah, great fun. So if you ever fancy driving a German tank but can't afford to, come and see us. And if you do the right courses, get your licence and everything else, because you have to have proper track vehicle licences to drive these for insurance purposes. Maybe we can help you.
On insurance, is there a specialist company that insures?
There are specialist companies that insure them. Obviously these are no longer road legal. They were road legal when we bought them.
Right.
So you could buy an FV432, and if you have the right licence, you can drive it to Sainsbury's. The engine will run on paraffin, diesel, petrol, diesel-metal mix, chip fat. If you get you get the chips out, it'll run on it. Not particularly well, but it will run on it.
Why can't you drive it? They've changed the licence.
Because we've taken the when it's a 432, on here you'd have rubber pads.
Yeah.
Now the Germans didn't have rubber pads, so we've taken them off. So if we took this on a tarmac road, there wouldn't be very much tarmac left.
Right, I see.
We did build one of these for a museum in the Channel Islands. If you ever visit Jersey, please go to the Jersey War Tunnels Museum, fantastic place. In the mouth of there is Hedvig. Hedvig was the one we built for them in 13 weeks, and I had the pleasure of delivering it, and that meant delivering it. That meant driving it in the rush hour through the streets of Jersey, which was great fun. I'm the only person probably alive now who's driven a German tank through the streets of Jersey in the rush hour.
What's the insurance be on something like this?
Right, well we have reenactment insurance, so we're insured so that if I inadvertently run over someone, God forbid, or get blown up, or blow somebody else up, that's covered. It doesn't cover for on the road. If you had a road version of the FV432, you could probably get insurance to drive it on the road, get this for about £150. Because let's face it, if anybody hits you, you're not going to get damaged. And you've got to have the correct licences and everything else.
What's it armed with, this one?
This one, obviously, actually is not armed with anything, but the originals were armed with a 75mm gun. The 75mm had an incredibly high penetration rate. It could go through any Allied armour. It would punch a hole straight through it. It would do it at a range where the Allies couldn't actually fight back. These were great for killing T-34s.
Right.
Because of the low silhouette, trust me, it is low. In fact, we took one out there yesterday and we found a dip, and all you could see was the gun barrel. We camered it up and you couldn't see it. What they do, you'd have 4 or 5 of them set in an ambush position. T-34s would come skedaddling down. They're rubbish tanks, by the way. Don't believe everybody you hear about them. I've been in one, they're horrible. And they'd go past. Before they knew what hit them, bang, 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 they were all dead. Then they would reverse out and get back. They were quite fast for their day, very manoeuvrable as well. Great tank killers.
One shot, one kill often.
Oh yeah. unfortunately. If you're on the Allied side, I mean, it'll punch a hole in the Sherman, no problems at all. Right towards the end of the war, the only Allied tank that possibly could have lived a little bit longer if it had come into service earlier was the Centurion. Because the Centurion came in 6 months too late, otherwise it would have been the best battle tank of the Second World War.
Some can only help,
But yeah, great piece of kit.
Spaced armour on it?
Sorry?
On the front, some of the had spaced armour, didn't they? Started putting it in?
Yeah, on the side here, you see these funny little hooky things?
Yeah.
What they would do, they'd hang steel sheets, it's called Scherzen, and the idea was to defeat heat rounds, bazooka rounds. The idea of a bazooka round, it penetrates and then explodes. So what would happen, it would penetrate the plate through there and then explode, but it was still outside the external armour. So the crew was safe. So you quite often see pictures of these with maybe 1 or 2 panels missing, where they've been blown up with great big holes in, but otherwise there'd have been a dead crew.
What hits could that take on its front armour?
It could take an extreme range. It could take on the front armour anything with Sherman except the Firefly, practically up to 100 yards, and it was more or less immune. They were still pretty tough kiddies, but of course the Firefly, they could kill tigers. Michael Wittmann, great tank ace until he met a tank that could fight back. When he met a Firefly, he died. So, you know, we did have some good armour. You know, and we had lots of it. That was the secret. These were simple and cheap to produce in comparison to the the Tigers and the Panthers. You could build 4 of these at the same price, and they were reliable, unlike the Tigers and the Panthers. So they were good bits of kit. Very underrated. Most people don't even know what a Stug is.
Stug stands for?
Oh heck, this is where my German lets me down. Stungerschutz, or salt gun. Because the earlier versions had a short barrel 75mm with lower velocity, so it would have a barrel up to about here. It was designed initially to assault cities and to take out concrete emplacements, but then of course they discovered that if they upgunned it, this has got the same gun, it's the same as a pack gun, the anti-tank guns.
Yes.
If they put one of those in here, shoehorned it in, and it is a shoehorn, they could actually have a mobile anti-tank gun that could kill anything.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But you can't. I can't get a transport down there.
So these are replicas.
Not a low loader.
Pretty good replicas on the outside.
Yeah.
H goes to huge lengths to get them as accurate as possible. Each time he builds one, they get better.
Well,
I
if
mean,
you had a
Heidi, the one over there,
mobile,
we built in a
drive down
cowshed.
the lane somewhere where you could meet the line.
And none of us are engineers or mechanics or anything.
Superb, absolutely superb.
Have a dream, build it.